Welcome to Trump Wire, your trusted source for breaking headlines, global insights, and sharp analysis from around the world. If you're new here, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss an update. In global politics, a single move can shift the balance of power. Sometimes, it's not just about the immediate impact, but about the message it sends to the world. Every decision on the international stage is watched closely, and the ripples can be felt far beyond borders. Argentina's decision to join BRICS is one such move, a calculated step that has captured the attention of both allies and rivals. This isn't just a diplomatic gesture, it's a bold signal that Argentina is seeking new alliances in a multipolar world. It's a declaration that the country is ready to diversify its partnerships and play a more active role on the global stage. For decades, the U.S. dominated Latin America, shaping its politics, economies, and even its cultural landscape. The region's history is filled with examples of American influence, both overt and subtle. Now, Argentina's pivot cracks that old order, showing emerging economies are building new power structures. It's a sign that countries are no longer content to follow the same playbook. They're writing their own rules. The BRICS bloc, now expanded, positions itself as a counterweight to Western-led groups like the G7. This expansion is not just symbolic, it's a strategic move to amplify the voices of developing nations. By joining, Argentina signals it wants partnerships based on shared interests of the global South, not just Western priorities. It's about finding common ground with countries facing similar challenges and opportunities. This is about more than economics. It's about sovereignty and strategic autonomy. Argentina is asserting its right to choose its own path, free from external pressures. Argentina's move challenges the U.S.'s traditional dominance in the region and shows countries are choosing partners based on pragmatic interests. It's a reminder that alliances are shifting, and nothing is set in stone. The world is no longer unipolar. Power is being redistributed, and influence is more contested than ever before. Power is diffusing, and new centers are emerging. Countries like Argentina are seizing the moment to redefine their roles. The BRICS expansion is a clear sign of this trend. It's a signal that the global order is evolving, and new alliances are taking shape. Argentina's decision is a case study in how middle powers adapt to a changing world. It's about leveraging opportunities, managing risks, and staying relevant. It's a story of economic necessity, political ambition, and the search for a more balanced global system. For Argentina, this is a chance to shape its own destiny and contribute to a new international order. With this move, Argentina has changed the game for everyone, reminding the world that in the 21st century, power is not given, it's taken. For over a century, the U.S. shaped Latin America's politics and economy, often treating the region as its backyard. But the rise of China changed everything. Beijing's demand for commodities and its no-strings-attached investments offered Latin America a powerful alternative. As China's economic footprint grew, so did its influence, while U.S. dominance waned. The Trump administration's confrontational approach only accelerated this shift, pushing countries like Argentina to seek new partners. Argentina's BRICS decision is the result of 2 decades of growing Chinese influence and a perception of declining American commitment. Latin American leaders now see more options and are confident in forging their own paths. The U.S. shadow remains, but it now competes with China's rising sun. Argentina's move is part of a new, more complex geopolitical dawn for the continent. BRICS, Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa, began as a concept, a grouping of emerging economies that were expected to play a major role in shaping the future of global growth and development. These countries, each with their own unique strengths and challenges, came together to amplify their voices on the world stage. Over time, BRICS evolved from a loose idea into a formal coalition, holding annual summits and working together to challenge the Western-dominated world order. Their goal is to create a more balanced and multipolar global system where emerging economies have a real seat at the table. The bloc's true power lies in its immense scale, representing nearly half the world's population, and an ever-increasing share of global GDP. These countries are home to bustling cities, dynamic economies, and a young, growing workforce that is driving innovation and change. With the addition of new members like Argentina, Saudi Arabia, and others, BRICS is becoming even more formidable. The expansion signals its growing influence and appeal to other nations seeking alternatives to traditional power structures. The new development bank, established as a counterweight to institutions like the IMF and World Bank, funds infrastructure and development projects with fewer political conditions. This gives member countries more freedom to pursue their own priorities and development paths. BRICS is also pushing for de-dollarization, encouraging trade in local currencies to reduce dependence on the US dollar and challenge American financial dominance. This move could reshape global finance and empower emerging economies. But BRICS is far from a monolith. Its members range from vibrant democracies to powerful authoritarian states, and their interests often diverge sharply. Internal differences and competing priorities can make cooperation challenging. What unites them, however, is a shared desire for a greater say in global affairs and a deep frustration with the current system, which many see as unfairly tilted toward the West. BRICS has become a platform for the so-called rising rest, countries from the global South, to coordinate, collaborate, and push for a new world order that better reflects their interests and aspirations. Ultimately, BRICS is less a traditional alliance and more a coalition of ambition, a diverse group of nations united by the hope of reshaping the global landscape for the 21st century. For Argentina, joining BRICS is a pragmatic gamble, born out of both economic desperation and a desire for greater strategic flexibility on the world stage. The country faces mounting challenges that have forced its leaders to look beyond traditional alliances and consider new partnerships. Decades of debt, repeated financial crises, and IMF-imposed austerity have left Argentina searching for alternatives to the status quo. The social and economic toll has been immense, fueling public frustration and a sense of urgency for change. BRICS membership offers access to the new development bank, a potential lifeline for much-needed funding and economic stability. This could help Argentina finance infrastructure, support social programs, and reduce its dependence on Western financial institutions. China and Brazil are already vital trade partners, accounting for a significant share of Argentina's exports and imports. Joining the bloc could deepen these relationships, open new markets, and attract investment from other BRICS members. In a world of rising protectionism and shifting alliances, being part of a large economic club offers a sense of security and collective bargaining power that smaller economies often lack. Politically, it signals a shift toward a more balanced, non-aligned foreign policy, one that seeks to diversify Argentina's global relationships and reduce over-reliance on any single power. Argentina aims to maintain strong ties with the US and Europe, while also cultivating new allies and opportunities in the global South. This balancing act is a familiar challenge for middle powers navigating the complexities of great power competition as they seek to maximize their own interests without alienating key partners. The risks are real. Antagonizing Washington and complicating ties with Western democracies could have diplomatic and economic consequences, but Argentina is betting that the potential economic benefits from new funding sources to expanded trade will ultimately outweigh the risks and help the country recover. It's a high-stakes move, one that could redefine Argentina's place in the world and set the tone for its future development. The outcome will shape Argentina's trajectory for years to come, influencing not just its economy, but its identity and role on the global stage. Latin America is now a battleground for US-China rivalry, fought with trade, investment, and diplomacy. The US urges countries to resist China's influence, warning of debt traps and strategic risks. The Trump administration's aggressive stance includes tariffs and pressure to limit Chinese involvement in key sectors. China, meanwhile, offers massive investments and infrastructure, becoming South America's top trading partner. Projects like Peru's Chancay megaport deepen China's integration with the region. Latin American nations are courted by both sides, each offering opportunities and demanding loyalty. Some lean toward the US for security, others toward China for economic growth. Argentina and others try to balance both, seeking benefits without overdependence. This balancing act is the new reality as the great game for influence unfolds. Argentina's BRICS move sent shockwaves worldwide, exposing deep geopolitical rifts. In Washington, Trump saw it as a betrayal, threatening tariffs and making US support conditional. China and Brazil welcomed Argentina, seeing it as a diplomatic win and a boost for regional integration. In Argentina, reactions were split. Some praised the pragmatic move, others criticized the government's shifting stance. European nations watched with concern, fearing a fragmented global system. Emerging economies saw Argentina's move as proof of new alternatives to the Western-led order. The world is in transition, with old alliances tested and new ones forming. Argentina's decision is a sign of shifting power and the search for new partnerships. The global chessboard is being rearranged. For ordinary Argentinians, BRICS membership feels distant, but its impact could be profound. Many hope it brings economic stability, new jobs and investment without IMF-style austerity. There's optimism about new markets and infrastructure, but also anxiety about US retaliation and trade wars. Some fear overdependence on China and question the implications for Argentina's democracy and sovereignty. The mood is pragmatic. People have seen grand promises before. They'll judge BRICS by results, jobs, inflation, and daily life. For now, most adopt a wait-and-see attitude. The decision is just the latest chapter in Argentina's long search for prosperity. Real change will be measured in everyday lives, not diplomatic headlines. Argentina's economic reality is defined by its trade ties. China is now indispensable, buying most of Argentina's soybeans and a third of its lithium exports. Brazil is the top partner for industrial trade, with supply chains linking both economies. Brazil's support for Argentina's BRICS membership is as much economic as political. In contrast, trade with the US has stagnated, while exports to China have soared. US tariffs on Brazil and threats to Argentina highlight the risks of relying on volatile partners. Diversification is now an economic necessity, not just a strategy. Joining BRICS formalizes trade ties that already sustain Argentina's economy. The government hopes this move will secure better deals and access to development funds. For Argentina, BRICS is less a leap and more a recognition of economic reality. Argentina's entry into BRICS marks the start of a new, uncertain chapter. The country must balance relations with both China and the US, navigating a complex geopolitical landscape. The threat of US tariffs will test Argentina's resolve and economic resilience. For BRICS, new members bring power but also diversity and potential discord. The bloc's success depends on overcoming internal differences to shape a multipolar world. Globally, we're moving from a single superpower to a fragmented, competitive system. Blocs like BRICS suggest a future of competing spheres, with both opportunity and risk. For Argentina, this is a gamble on the global South's rise and a bid for long-sought stability. Whether it pays off depends on leadership, global dynamics, and BRICS' ability to deliver. Argentina's move is a vivid sign of a world being remade before our eyes.